Today, we're going to dive deep into a pretty huge question. What are we, and really every living thing on this planet, actually made of? We're going to break down the essential molecules of life, the tiny, tiny components that build everything from a single bacterium all the way up to a blue whale.
So let's just start right there. Really think about it. When you look in the mirror, what are you actually seeing? If you could look past the skin, the bones, and the organs, what are the fundamental chemical pieces that make you, well, you?
It might seem like an impossibly complex puzzle, right? But the crazy thing is, all the incredible diversity of life that we see around us is built on the unique properties of just one, single, surprisingly common element. And that's where our whole story begins. And that hero element is carbon. Honestly, the best way to think about carbon is like it's the ultimate Lego brick for building anything alive. It's the super versatile, foundational piece that just about everything else connects to. So, what's carbon's big superpower? It's this number, 4. A carbon atom has 4 little connection points. We call them valence electrons in its outer shell. And this setup lets it form 4 incredibly strong and stable links, or covalent bonds, with other atoms. And that is why having 4 connection spots is such a game changer. It allows carbon atoms to link together to form these long, straight chains. They can create complex branches that go off in all directions. They can even loop back on themselves to form stable rings. This incredible versatility is exactly what makes carbon the perfect molecular backbone for all of life's complicated structures. Okay, so we've got our Lego brick, carbon. But how does life actually, snap these bricks together to build bigger things? And just as important, how does it take them apart when it needs to? Turns out, there's a surprisingly simple and really elegant 2-part assembly manual for all of it.
So the first rule is for building. It's a process called dehydration synthesis. You start with 2 small molecular bricks, which are called monomers. Then a specialized protein, an enzyme, comes along and acts like a tiny construction worker. It grabs the 2 monomers, pulls out the atoms that make up a water molecule, and click! A brand new strong bond snaps into place between them. You just do that over and over and over, and you build a long chain called a polymer.
Now, the second rule is for taking things apart. And it's the exact reverse process. It's called hydrolysis, which literally means water breaking. In this case, an enzyme takes a water molecule and uses it like a little crowbar to break a bond in the chain. The water molecule splits, caps off the broken ends, and boom, the bricks are separated. This, by the way, is exactly what happens when you digest your food, breaking down big molecules into small ones your body can use. So, the whole thing boils down to this really simple idea. Dehydration synthesis builds things up by removing water, and hydrolysis breaks them down by adding water. These 2 reactions are pretty much the foundation of your body's entire metabolism, constantly building and breaking down molecules every second of the day.
All right, now that we know the basic building block in the instruction manual, let's meet the specialized construction crews themselves. In the world of biology, there are 4 major types of molecules, and each one has a very unique and important job to do.
First up, we've got the carbohydrates. You probably know these guys as carbs, sugars, and starches. They're built from simple sugar bricks called monosaccharides. And their main job? Well, it's all about providing quick, easy-to-access energy for your cells to burn as fuel. Think of them as the body's high-octane gasoline. But they do more than just give you a quick energy boost. Plants can pack this energy away for long-term storage as starch. That's why foods like potatoes and pasta are so full of energy. We animals do something similar, storing it as glycogen in our muscles and liver for later. And some carbs, like cellulose, are purely for structure, building the tough, rigid walls of plant cells. Next on the crew list are the lipids, which you probably just call fats and oils. Their #1 defining feature is that they're hydrophobic, which is just a fancy way of saying they hate water. They don't mix with it. And this property is absolutely critical for pretty much everything they do in the body. Lipids are fantastic for long-term energy storage, packing in more than double the energy punch of carbs, gram for gram. But maybe their most vital role is forming membranes. A special type called phospholipids create the protective border around every single one of your cells. And other lipids, like steroids, act as crucial messengers, hormones that regulate just about everything in your body. All right, now for our third crew, proteins. And let me tell you, if carbon is the Lego brick, then proteins are all the incredible things you build with the bricks. They do almost everything. They're the builders, the movers, the messengers, the defenders. Seriously, proteins are the true workhorses of the cell, and they're all built from a set of 20 different building blocks called amino acids. And their job list is practically endless. As enzymes, they speed up all those chemical reactions we were just talking about. They provide structure, like the collagen that keeps your skin firm. They create movement in your muscles. They transport vital things around, like hemoglobin carrying oxygen in your blood. You name it, there's probably a protein that does it.
So if proteins are all the busy workers, where in the world do they get their instructions? That brings us to our final and perhaps most important group, the nucleic acids. These molecules are the master blueprints, the biological instruction manuals for how to build and operate an entire living thing.
There are two main types you need to know. First, there's DNA. Think of DNA as the master blueprint, the permanent, securely stored library that holds all the genetic information. Then you have RNA, which acts more like a temporary messenger. It's like a photocopy of one specific page from the library that gets sent out to the cell's construction sites.
And this is where it all comes together. This illustrates the final, beautiful concept of how life works. All these different molecules don't just exist in isolation. No. They work together in a very precise flow of information that ultimately creates, well, you. Here's how it all connects, step by step. The permanent instructions are locked away safely in the DNA. When a specific job needs to be done, that instruction is copied into a temporary RNA message. That RNA message is then delivered to the cell's machinery, which reads it and builds a very specific protein. And that protein then goes off and performs its specific job. This flow, from DNA to RNA to protein, is the absolute fundamental process of life. So, what's the big takeaway here? Every single living thing you've ever seen, from the grass in a park to the person next to you, is built from the same 4 types of molecules, all based on that simple carbon backbone. The only thing that separates you from a tree or a mushroom is the specific order of the instructions written in your DNA. It's an absolutely incredible thought, isn't it? From one universal chemical alphabet, life has managed to write a nearly infinite number of different stories, and you are one of them.